Canada Open Work Permit 2023. Greetings to everyone. Once again, welcome to BS Creatives. We hope all is well with you. We'll talk about Open Work Permits 2023 in this episode. Thus, pay attention and finish watching the video to acquire all the information. Thank you for like and subscribing. Moreover, be sure to activate the notification bell for new episodes. Let's start the video now without further ado. Foreign nationals who meet the requirements may work for any employer in Canada with open work permits. The ability to work in the industry or for the employer of your choosing is the primary benefit of having an open work permit. You may learn everything you need to know about active work permits in Canada on this comprehensive website on Canada Visas. An open work permit is what? Most foreign nationals who wish to work in Canada must get a work permit in order to do so. One of the various forms of work licenses that enable foreign workers to lawfully work in Canada is the open work permit. In Canada, there are two categories of work permits. There are two types of work permits: closed work permits, which are linked to a particular employer, and open work permits, which let foreigners work in Canada for any number of businesses and in any place. The freedom of mobility they permit, whether it is between jobs, employers, occupations, or areas, is the main benefit of open work permits. Some conditions for acquiring a work permit in Canada are waived in the case of open work permits. To qualify for an open work permit, we are not need to have a job offer or a favorable labor market effect assessment. However, some open work permits could have further conditions that visitors must fulfill. These requirements, if any, will be clearly stated on your open work permit. Who may submit an open work permit application? If you fit into one of the following categories, you can be qualified for an open work permit. You qualify for the post-graduation work permit program because you are an international student who has graduated from a recognized educational institution. You have submitted an application for permanent residence in Canada through one of the country's immigration schemes. You are someone who's applied for permanent residency's dependent, family member, spouse, or common law partner. You are a skilled worker's spouse or common law partner, or you are an overseas student. You are in possession of a temporary resident permit. You are a protected person, a refugee, an asylum seeker, or a member of their family. An enforceable removal order is in place for you. You are a young worker taking part in a program for working holidays. You are a student who is struggling to pay for your education. You are being mistreated or are at danger of being mistreated while working in Canada with a work permit that is particular to your employer. What conditions must be met before applying for open work permits? Depending on each person's unique circumstances, different requirements and application processes apply. The following are a few typical justifications for being qualified for an open work permit. Candidates for permanent residents who live in Canada. If you reside in Canada, have a work permit that is about to expire, and have submitted an application for permanent residence under a federal or provincial economic class program, you and your spouse or common law partner may be qualified for a bridging open work permit. Be aware that while Quebec offers substitute work permits, BOP is not offered in Quebec. Spouses or common law partners who are sponsored through inland sponsorship and who meet the eligibility requirements for sponsorship immigration may be given an open work permit if they are sponsored for permanent residence through inland sponsorship and meet the requirements. Foreign temporary employees' spouses or common law partners. If you are the spouse or common law partner of a temporary foreign worker who has worked in Canada for at least 6 months in a position that corresponds to skill level OA or B of the National Occupational Classification and who resides or intends to reside in Canada, you may be eligible for an open work permit. In order to qualify for an open work permit as the spouse or common law partner of an international student, you must not be enrolled in school full-time yourself. Your international student, spouse, or partner must be enrolled full-time at one of these kinds of schools and possess a current study permission. A public post may be a college or university, a CEGEP in Cuba, a private college-level institution in Quebec, or a private school in Canada that is authorized by provincial legislation to confer degrees such as a bachelor's, master's, or PhD. International graduates, their partners in common law, and spouses. Students who have completed a specific program of study in Canada and are qualified for an open work visa must fulfill the criteria for the post-graduation work permit program. A foreign citizen must be at least 18 years old and have completed an 8-month program of full-time study at an approved educational institution in Canada in order to be eligible for a PGWP. If you are a post-graduation work permit holder's spouse or common law partner, you can also be qualified for an open work permit, according to DLI. The validity date of these open work permits typically corresponds to the time period that their spouse is permitted to work in Canada. Participants in the IEC Program for International Experience Canada may also be eligible to apply for an open work permit under the Working Holiday category. IEC is open to young adults who are residents of other nations with which Canada has reciprocal agreements. Depending on the nation, the age range for eligibility is often between 18 and 35. How can we submit an open work permit application? An open work permit can be requested from within Canada or came from outside of Canada. Depending on where you are applying from, there will be differences in the application procedure and the forms you must submit. Both procedures need the submission of a specific form and simultaneous payment of the work permit processing charge and the open work permit holder fee. This video is at its conclusion for today. What do you think about this? Please share your feedback in the space provided below. I appreciate you watching the entire clip. We sincerely hope you find the video beneficial. We will be back with new video. Until then, be careful.